Hey everyone! I have a couple of updates for you on my progress on the Living Archive. If you're new here, my name is April and I make principal paper crafting projects that tell a story. I worked on a couple of things this week. I worked on the journal cover and the map case, as well as how I wanted to make the maps for this project. I do use AI art for a lot of my illustrations. I also purchase art, but in this case, I wanted to have more control. So I'm going to show you what I settled on. So let's head over to my workspace and I will show you what I came up with. So when you first saw the journal and map case, they were just these kind of scrap paper prototypes. Got these little holders inside of the map case, pages in the journal, and I was just working on construction. But now they are in a final draft form, lots of color. Here is the journal. So we've got all this bright orange on the side, lots of kind of a blue and that rainbow pattern from the box that I showed you last week. That's on there. And then when we construct the pages, we've got these colored strips that are going to hold everything together. So that's going to add another element of color. I'm just going all out on color on this one. And so far I have no regrets. So we will be filling this with our story, a little flips and interactive pieces, along with the text from Alistair, our main character. And then in the map case, this is where Alistair keeps his maps. I'm gonna pop this open. I'm still not sure about this closure. It feels a little stiff, so I'm gonna mess with that maybe a little adjustment here. And then here's my prototype for the holders for the maps. So you can see here, I'm going to get to the maps in a second, but here's the case. It's very sturdy. I've doubled up on the cardstock. There's no ink on these, so you're going to see a lot of white edges and things on these prototypes. But here is the map case, and then the maps are going to pull out. Now this map is not complete. I was testing my map making skills because, let me pop that open. I decided to draw my own maps. So here is my map drawing. I've got some graph paper, and in true Dungeons and Dragons style, I decided I was going to draw my own maps. And it was a little harder than I thought it would be, but I'm looking forward to drawing all 5 maps that are going to be in this kit. It might take a little bit of time, but this wasn't too bad. So I'm pretty happy with how that came out and then how it looks on the kind of parchment backgrounds. I could do a little refining, and there's a reason why these rooms are all separate. Secrets, spoilers. So that is what I have been working on this week. I'm doing some of my own drawing for the project and combining it with those purchased and generated assets. Oh, and I did a final draft of the story, and it's ready for the illustration process. So now that you're all caught up on my Living Archive progress, let's go over the Adventurers poll, because I did not do that last weekend. I had a serious case of vacation brain. And we've got a new poll for all of you to vote and comment on. So the new poll, really quickly, is you're going on a year-long journey across a fantasy realm. What is your preferred mode of magical transportation? We have a cottage that grows chicken legs, a hot air balloon powered by magic, a train that makes its own tracks, and then other, so that you can come up with anything that your imagination can dream up and comment that below. I really encourage you to comment regardless what you pick. Elaborate on your selection, why it appeals to you, what extra little details you would like to add, and I will pick a couple of answers to share with everybody in a week or two. And that's what I'm going to do right now for the fantasy adventure poll. So if you were a fantasy adventurer, what would you like your special skills to be? And feel free to expand on your selection in the comments. And the options were weapons and martial arts, magic, spells, and alchemy, which was our winner at 67%, agility and clever wit, and then other. Comment below. So I have a couple of favorites that I'm going to share with you. Ebba Little chose other because of the martial arts part of weapons. I'm in real life of Viking ancestry, Swedish and Norwegian, split right down the middle. And whenever I play fantasy games, I am the usually dwarven swordman out front, slashing through the riffraff. No martial arts, just me and my trusty double-edged sword, which may or may not have a name, and possibly a throwing axe or six. I make the way clear for the rest of the crew and keep the hordes down to a dull roar, wading through the bodies as I go. And I love this. My current D&D character is an orc barbarian named Thraka with a great axe named Daisy. She loves flowers, so her axes are always named after flowers. She has a whole backstory around that. She also has purple hair, which is why Brenna in the Living Archive now has purple hair. So Eva Little, I loved your comment. My second one I'm going to share is D Dodson 3099. Since I'm older, agility sounds really good. Being able to move around places and people like they're not even there. And if you're caught by someone, you have wit quick enough to get out of the situation or get them on your side. Maybe throw a little romance in there and an animal sidekick. And I love this. D. Dodson has come up with an entire little like story, and I love that. I would read this book. So big fan. And my third and final choice, just for time, not because there weren't other good ones, there are a lot, so check that out on the community page, by Jenna Runge, Elements from Them All. Being able to physically and mentally defend myself and have the knowledge and ability to heal oneself and others. So maybe like a D&D cleric or paladin, something like that. So those were my three picks. There certainly were other really great answers. So you can find the polls on my community post page. There's a link in the description down below. You'll be able to see the previous poll as well as the new one. So if you can still vote on any poll, they're always open. So go through, scroll through, see what else is there, and vote and comment. And I will see you all next week, and I will have another update for you on where I'm at with the Living Archive.